Hey, it's Mike with Aegis. Let's get prepared, not scared this evening. There's two events I really want to cover. The first one, we're going to look at Fort Worth, Texas. There's an explosion that just recently occurred at the Sandman Hotel where 11 people were actually injured in that blast. And I'll actually have a portion of that link down below for the articles for that. In addition to, we'll actually take a look at those images just kind of over my head here. The reason I want to talk about that is that it doesn't seem like it was a nexus to terrorism, that there was no actual attack that occurred. It does seem like it was a gas explosion that actually happened. And if you look at the facade of the front facing of that building, well, what you see is that the glass and the doors are blown out. Usually we see that with a overpressurization of that building where gas pressure will then escape out the path of least resistance, which would be those glass the windows and the doorways. So this does hold, in fact, that it may very well not be attacked. Now, there could be something nefarious with that, but all this is just alleged right now. And what we do know is that we pray for a speedy recovery for those 11 people injured, and that the investigation is still ongoing with that, okay? And had it been an explosive of some kind, the brisance of that explosion would have actually sheared off from either the inside going out or from the outside ripping the front face of that, and would destroy the front of that building or bring that building down for that matter. Now, the other event I wanted to also briefly mention is it came just before this event, was Flight 1282 with Alaska Airlines. Well, what happened with that? If you haven't been paying attention, we had a plane that had the door blown out. It wasn't just opened. And again, I'll throw down in the description below and we'll look at some of those images. And what you'll see is that the door, as it expanded outwards, it was more than just someone opening it. I mean, those doors don't just simply open, okay? You don't just walk up to it and turn a doorknob and open them up. No, there's actually several latches you have to go through that ensures a pressurized seal for the inside of that aircraft. And with that quick depressurization, that can cause catastrophic damage for an aircraft. In this case, it didn't bring the aircraft down, but that aircraft did travel a distance with that door ripped out of its frame and damage around that door frame itself as well. So that's, and the investigation with that's dubious also. We have the FAA's being slow for release of information on this, which kind of calls into question their credibility, I would say. And we also see that the black box recorder for the aircraft has been erased, okay? Now, I'm not drawing a connection between these events. What I am trying to point out is that the speed at which these events occurred within the last 48 hours was pretty rapid. Okay, honestly, and just my personal opinion, and that's all it's worth, which is probably not worth a whole lot, 2024, I think, is going to get pretty wild with an election year, with the degeneration of the nation and our own borders. And that's kind of what I wanted to segue into, is with these two events that are occurring and what's happening at the border. And I'm not saying they're connected. That's definitely not what I'm doing, okay? Do your own research on everything, draw your own conclusions. What I do want to point out is that the porous nature of the border right now, and the reports that at least I'm getting in, and what other people are pointing out too, is that we have some major problems happening. I spent quite a few years in deployed environments when I was in the military in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. And even during that time frame, closer towards the end of it, where maybe it was very dubious why we were there to begin with, especially with Iraq. There were no weapons of mass destruction there. We were basically sold a lie. One of our attitudes as bomb techs was that if we keep it over there, it's not going to be here in the U.S., okay? I now call that into question, honestly, with the state of affairs happening across the border, okay? Now, I'm going to link this all in the description below as well, and I'll try to throw up some images right here also. But first off, some reports have come out that we've had Chinese nationals that are faking not knowing English and coming across the border, and that they have their documents and paperwork as far as being Chinese nationals, and why they would be crossing over into the U.S. via the Mexican border is pretty questionable at best, okay? And with the way things are going on in the South China Sea with Taiwan, and we know what China wants to do there, that definitely is creating some security concerns that I can see, okay? Where that, could these individuals do something? Certainly. Sabotage of some kind to infrastructure, power grids, things like that, hacking, propaganda creation, basically sowing dissent. they can cause all kinds of havoc, but they're not the only ones also. Customs Border Patrol has caught over the last few years known members of the terrorist watch list trying to cross the border. And, and all of this is not even covering those that could have possibly gotten away as well. Okay. We even have Iranian individuals coming across the border as well through Mexico. And then the last portion of this is that, you have groups like the cartels along the border and coyotes smuggling individuals. And now with the implications that our certain three-letter agencies in our own country are aiding and abetting trafficking of people, the individuals that could be coming across this border certainly are not going to mean well intent for the citizens of this country. And that's what I kind of wanted to draw attention to, is that there's a lot of things going down between the airline, between this explosion and Fort Worth, Texas. They're not connected. No, that's not what I'm saying. So all in all, I do see the possibility of more and more of these weird events happening. And I honestly do see, and this is just my opinion, I can see an escalation occurring in the United States where we are going to see actual attacks on our own soil, and more than just active shooter stuff, possibly IEDs as well. So real quick, so this is a slide I've made and used in the past, and this just only goes from 2001 to 2011, so right after 9/11, and it's looking at terrorist attacks in the U.S. And honestly, from that 10-year time frame, there were only about 146, as you can see in the chart, 146 linked or terrorist connected attacks. And a lot of these terrorist attacks were kind of small scale things that probably passed under the radar, didn't even get a news blurb in them, okay? A lot of them connected to things like Planet Liberation Front attacks, so a lot of climate activism, things like that. With the biggest one actually occurring would have been the Fort Hood shooting, which saw the deaths, I believe, of 13 individuals on that. So, and we've lived in relative safety for quite a long time. And I want to draw attention to this, that, not everything lasts forever. And the way things are going globally and the way things are happening on our own soil, I am concerned about an attack on our own soil. So again, prepared, not scared, right? But what I really want to draw attention to is that things seem to be progressing quickly and rapidly. And I want you and your family to take care of yourselves, okay? So, with that, be prepared and not scared. Okay. One thing I always mention when I teach classes, and of course, anybody's welcome to contact us at Aegis Defense Solutions if you're interested in these classes for your own organizations, churches, nonprofits, medical clinics, or even businesses. We do everything. We cover all kinds of scenarios like active shooter training, IED and bomb threats, fire and weather emergencies, and the like. And one of the things that we definitely put out is having a mental checklist. And part of that mental checklist is a means to work yourself up and down to a state where we have situational awareness. We can take that situational awareness, pull our heads up, pull your face out of your phone. Everybody's guilty of it, even me, okay? You don't need them out all the time. And then progress to, where do threats come from? Okay, well, threats come from people, okay, and bears, but mainly people. And we want to watch what those people around us are doing. If you're in a downtown area and people start pulling on black masks, that's a good idea to get out. You don't need to be there anymore, right? No good's going to come from that, okay? After that, then we can start assessing, what do I need to do to start taking actions? I can seek assistance, okay? Get first responders involved if necessary, okay? But as we saw in 2020, sometimes that's not even the best case for yourself. Ultimately, you are responsible for your own protection and your family's protection. After that, then we can start taking actions. Can we try to de-escalate? Can we escape out of a situation, okay? And all of this really plugs into being prepared and being ready for anything that can occur. Okay, and often we tie this into when it comes to detecting behavioral leakage from criminal activity and from terrorist activity, that from just years of training from my military experience, and trying to bring that to the civilian side of it, saying that, hey, these are all techniques that are the regular Joe off the street can do to keep themselves safe, to be another set of eyes, okay? It's basically trying to change your own mindset and to try to change your habits, okay? To take yourself from a state of blasé, and just going with the flow, to you're the kind of individual to take actions even if you're the weird one, okay? Are you the kind of person that when a fire alarm gets pulled, that you stay in the building? Okay, that, oh, maybe it's somebody was scratching their back on the fire alarm and it went off. Okay, it was just a false alarm. Okay, I've seen that happen plenty of times through over the years. A fire alarm gets pulled and people are like, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's a test. Oh, it's somebody, it's pulled it. It's a false alarm. Okay, but I want to try to get you to have the mindset like, hey, I'm going to be the individual that then just grabs my bag and gets up and walks out on the off chance that I don't want to be burned to death. Okay. Yeah, slim chance that it might be, but take care of yourself. Okay. Are you the kind of person when you go to the movies that you pay attention? Well, not that there's a lot of good movies out. It's a lot of hot trash right now. But if you were at the movies, that you're the kind of person that notices where the fire exits are. Okay. When you go into any building, you know where the exits are. Where, if you pass by an AED, on the wall, that you note where it is, so maybe you can help somebody in need. Okay, and that's really what I'm trying to get you to do, is to start to have that mental checklist to prepare yourself and to train with that. Okay, and to really gear yourself and your family to having that change of habit to create a new lifestyle pattern for yourself that has you, again, prepared and not scared. Okay, you don't want to be that deer in the headlights, completely caught off guard and then panicking. Say if gunshots or something were to go off, that you're the one taking cover and getting your family to safety or defending yourself, and not freaking out and freezing in place and not knowing what to do. That's definitely what I don't want for any of you. So, with that, take care of yourself. Really watch and pay attention to what's going on. Do your own research. I'll have all that information in the links below. Of course, with Aegis Defense Solutions, if you're interested at all with our classes and our training programs and our emergency management development programs, by all means, contact us. I'll have that information below. So like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. God bless and good night.